big news. Sony. Sony. Spider-Man is no longer in the MCU, it seems. Sony has got them back their Spider-Man. Is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Well, it depends who you're talking to. I applaud Sony for having the courage to stand up to Disney/Marvel in this case to say that, hey, you know what you're asking for is a shit ass deal, to be honest, right? Disney, here's what happened, right? If you guys are not up to date on what really went on, Disney has 5% of the movie revenue, and they have 100% of all the Spider-Man merchandise, right? That's a lot. Basically, the most money making part is the merchandise, and Sony doesn't have any revenue from the merchandise at all, right? So Disney in this case, or slash Marvel, they want to have, instead of 5% movie revenue, they want to get 50%. So it's like a 10 times sort of increment in terms of movie revenue. And in this case, Sony is like, what the hell, man? Like, screw you. I ain't giving you that much, right? I'm kind of happy that Sony has gotten back their Spider-Man. Now, if you ask me why am I happy? Why am I so excited about it? That you couldn't see Spider-Man in the MCU anymore. Oh, there's no more Spider-Man in the future Avengers movie. There's no more third Spider-Man movie in the MCU. Well, all I can say is, well, this is my own opinion. As usual, it's my opinion. I always have to disclaim that first, because otherwise people will come in. Anyway, I like Sony's Spider-Man. I'm talking about Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I kind of like Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, but I love Tobey Maguire, to be honest, right? I love his portrayal of Spider-Man. And now why is that? Because Tobey Maguire really resembles the Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man from the comics that I know of. And that is, Peter Parker is a nerd, science nerd, and he's sort of kind of antisocial in a way, or trying to fit in. And he doesn't have a lot of friends. And after that, he met this pretty redhead, Mary Jane Watson. And that's how it goes. And that's what Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is all about, and how it was, right? And afterwards, we have Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. 1, I thought they did quite well, right? In terms of establishing like a reboot for the origin story of Spider-Man. But when it comes to the second movie, I thought they kind of got carried away. Just like how they got carried away with Spider-Man 3, like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man 3. It's a mess. Amazing Spider-Man 2 was a mess. Then we have Tom Holland's Spider-Man in the MCU, and he did a great job, to be honest, right? Just suddenly come into the picture. To be honest, I didn't really like his, like that type of Spider-Man. I'm not saying that he's a good actor, to be honest, but I don't really, is my own preference again, that I prefer the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. The thing is, I don't really like about is that in the MCU, there is no Uncle Ben, which is, there's no acknowledgement, at least, to Uncle Ben. I'm not saying that we have to see Uncle Ben die again. I don't think we need to. But then we do not have Mary Jane Watson. We only have a girl called Michelle something, short form for MJ. But it's not really the MJ that we know of, that is more charismatic, more outspoken, that kind of character. Instead, this one is the opposite, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm thinking, if I'm not mistaken, that Sony has the rights to use MJ and the other characters, whereas the MCU only has access to Peter Parker and Aunt May. So they cannot really use Mary Jane Watson. They cannot address all these other characters in the Spider-Man lore. At the end of the day, you don't really get the awesome Spider-Man that we know of. So in order for Spider-Man to be Spider-Man, you need to have his supporting characters around. From what I understand is that Sony have access to a lot of their characters, and they only allow certain characters to be utilized in the MCU. But since now the deal is off between Disney, or in this case Marvel, with Sony, and if they do not renegotiate, possible outcome would be